Okay. So, 5 years is a very short amount of time. I think reparations, I don't know if you've been following the reparations movement. So the CARICOM Islands are asking for that their ex-colonial powers pay back, not only pay back, but apologize for their role in the slave trade, in colonialism, etc. I think that's going to be one of the most prominent political movements within the 21st century, because so the CARICOM Islands have started it. Once that momentum builds, African nations will follow, Indians will follow, Pakistanis will follow, and so I think it's very important to take inspiration from that, because they're going to have to, once Britain says, okay, sorry for colonialism, sorry for slavery, then they will either have to pay reparations. And remember, Nigeria is what, 54 years old? Is it 54? 55 years old. So when we're talking about, so I heard people saying, oh, Nigeria this, and there's no opportunities. I think we have to remember that we sometimes put the UK on a pedestal, and we need to have time in order to build and in order to allow our nations to flourish, given that we are only 55 years old. So I think it's important to take inspiration, because you said you haven't found any inspiration in the reparations movement going on.
I'll give you a very good example. The last man who I would say was a Pan-Africanist, okay, unfortunately I'll mention his name was Gaddafi. Okay, he came forward and said he wanted to set up
African nations.
Yeah, for the whole of Africa.
Exactly.
Came specifically with one mission, to build a strong African currency. He announced it to the public, and obviously we all know what happened to him. Now, for a person like me observing that, perhaps I would think I'll do what this other gentleman mentioned, which is, hey, you know what, I'll mind my business, get my 9 to 5, pay my tax, and I'll keep quiet. Okay? But that was the example you used, the people that you hate.
Yeah.
Now, there's a system here that's been put in place that's preventing people aspiring to become Pan-Africanists, as I would say. Because I'm talking from a black man, a black male British person with a Nigerian heritage, with a strong history and connection to Nigeria. And I'm saying, my point, as I mentioned earlier, is the lack of inspiration.
Yeah,
because the last person I know that stood up front, who put his money where his mouth is, was, exactly, that's the key word. And now, what would a panel like yourself, or yes, you've been going to the United Nations, would you suggest to someone like me, or another young black person in college right now, who's just thinking, I want to do something for Africa, I want to do something for Nigeria. Oh, Gaddafi got killed, you know what? I'll get my 9 to 5, man. That's what people like me are having to face. Okay, so, and that's what I was asking, the projection for the whole Pan-African movement in the next 10 years, or 5, or 15 years.
Well, since you said 5 years, the Black Lives Matter movement is in itself a movement. So that was started by 2 young people, and it was catalyzed by the killing of Trayvon Martin. Obviously, that is something that's happening in America, and you're talking about wanting to do something that... are you talking about Britain, or are you talking about Nigeria?
Well, British, being black British, and I have a strong Nigerian heritage.
Okay, so what stops you from being, from driving?
Exactly, I would love to drive, but the last man that tried to drive was killed. He was slaughtered.
So are you saying you're
slaughtered? He used the word.
Okay, sorry, on that note, I'm going to take one last question.
No, someone from the panel can answer.
Yes, okay, sorry, my apologies.
And I have the lady from United Nations.
My apologies. I'm going to have to kind of almost round this up, a bit quickly now. We'll have another session again. We still have about 3 more speakers before we finally round up. So I'll take one last question. We'll get the panel to respond to that, and we'll round up the session.
Thank you very much. My name is Dicky. Please permit me to stand up. I like seeing the eyes of people I'm talking to. To be honest, I try not to attend summits like this or conferences like. Not that it's not good. It's very good. But I tend to get angry at the end of the day, and I wonder why people don't get angry when you hear stuff like what the doctor has said, the problems in Nigeria, the problems in Africa, why don't we get angry at things like this? Why don't we stand up and say, look, this is wrong, we can do something about it. Now, you don't have to even go back home to do something about it. We can do it from here. Now, we've got guys in business, guys in engineering, guys in finance, seated here with different levels of skills. Why can't we come together, come together with that synergy and do something? There are people who, and you'll be surprised, look, this is the example I give when I give talks wherever. I tell people, you spend what, £3, £5 a week in McDonald's or KFC or wherever it is that we go to. You'd be amazed what that £5 a week would do in the life of a rural person who cannot go to school, or in the life of someone who is dying, who is going to die because at the hospital there's no drug or something. Do you understand what I mean? I was in a taxi the other day and I was talking to the taxi driver and he said, oh, you're from Nigeria? I said, yes. He said, well, his parents, this is a white British guy, and he said his parents go to Kenya every year and they built a school in Kenya, they go there every year, supply them with books and do that. That's a white British. What are we doing? Mm-hmm. That's the question I want. And I don't want us to leave here with, okay, yeah, and then this. Let's leave here, let's plan something, yeah? Before I left Nigeria, I used to volunteer in schools for free. One of my aunts told me, she was a principal in one of the schools, and she said, oh, we don't have a math. She had, imagine SS3 students, SS students, SS1, 2, 3, 70 in each class, 70 times 4, that's 280 times 3. They had only 2 maths teachers, just 2 maths, and they were going to sit for their O levels. So I said, okay, I can do something about that, and I will teach from 8 till 2 every day, going from one class to another, going from one class. It was tiring, but that's my passion. Now, you may have your own passion. Some of you might be in medicine. You might be able to do something. You might be able to dig a well somewhere where they don't have water. You might be able to get your friends together. Let's contribute money together. Let's go dig a well in Kenya. Let's go dig a well in Nigeria. Let's not leave here today without that mindset. That's all I'm begging. And if I may, just to now direct a question to every one of them, if there's anything, maybe, I know she was talking about an advocacy group or whatever, if there's anything anyone is doing here, perhaps you should let us know. So that perhaps some people might say, okay, I don't know how to start this, but I can contribute somewhere else. So maybe you can help us with that. Thank you.
The last speaker.
Hi, my name is Kariba again. I'm someone who is very passionate about the environmental degradation in the Niger Delta, and in any way possibly can I lend my voice, and even through my dissertation at the moment, I am writing about the atrocities that have been committed against the Niger Delta people and human rights. Sorry, you can't hear me. I'm sorry. Can you hear me? It's not working.
Can you hear me now? Yeah. So like I was saying, I'm very passionate about the atrocities that have been committed against the Niger Delta people, and I'm someone who always lends a voice when necessary. I and a group of people have been thinking through and coming up with new ideas on how to bring more awareness and subject the Nigerian government to look into cleaning up our polluted environment. So these are ways that we young people can contribute to help Nigeria as a whole. So yeah, I'd like to encourage each and every one of us in any way we can. Do your bit.
Can you please give them a round of applause and say, thank you so very much. There's still opportunities at the networking session if you still have a few more questions that you need clarified. So on that note, we're going to have another 3 sets of speakers who will be going through whatever they have to say in another